Came lessons well learned. I got his eyes, they keep me grounded, that's for sure. Cause one day we gon' make it out this earth. Where's your worth?
What's up, good people? Welcome back to the Bro.Bracy podcast. I'm here today with an esteemed man of my life, man. Spiritual pops in my life right now. I never really had a spiritual pops before, man, but I can just tell you like this: you should get you one if you trying to make it somewhere, especially going into ministry. It's a lot of pastors out there, man, but the father figure, there's few, and everybody's not called to do that because they don't have that capacity. Like, they know what to tell you, you know, according to the Holy Ghost, but at the same time, to lead you where you got to go, it takes a little bit more time and effort and willingness to even make the effort to do that. So right now I'm gonna introduce you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let him introduce himself straight out of where you at? Where you come from? LA? Where is that?
Los Angeles, California.
From LA, man. I don't meet too many people from LA, and this is the only one I like. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Pops.
Yes, Apostle Ronald Ackerson, right here in the beautiful city of Jacksonville, but from Los Angeles, California. Was actually born and raised right in the heart of South Central LA. Moved around in South Central, so a little bit of Compton, a little bit of Watts.
Okay.
You know, all that good stuff, but pretty much South Central.
You wasn't running with Dre and them, was you?
Oh, no. But, they was around the way, you know what I'm saying?
I think you seen in a movie one time. You know
down the road, down the
right.
road, Hawthorne, Long Beach,
True.
All around my neck of the woods.
Okay. I ain't been yet. I'm gonna take a trip one day, hopefully, if the wife is cool with that, she gonna go with me. I ain't going by myself.
Oh, yeah, it's good sightseeing.
I don't like traffic anyway, so. So let's get into it, right? We're gonna take the apostle title off, and this is what this show is about.
Okay.
I want people to understand. Take the title off, and who are you?
Okay.
Who are you? Who are you right now in this present day without the apostle on top?
All right. Right now, I'm a man of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a husband.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a father.
Mm-hmm.
You wear men wear many hats. Provider.
Got it.
Head.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many different hats. Son.
Okay.
Oldest brother.
Oh, okay.
I'm the oldest sibling, actually, so I'm a big brother to one brother and 4 sisters.
Okay.
Wow. So I'm the oldest child, so I carry the firstborn.
Yeah.
That's a calling all in itself, right? That's a calling all in itself. So, that leadership, set the example, taking care of, is innate, is in my nature. I believe the birth order kind of puts that in the blood, puts that in the blood for one.
Right.
To just be a one that takes care of, or at least have the heart to want to take care of.
Gotcha.
So it started with my siblings before anything. For
sure. That's what's up. All right, so let's take it back, right? I don't want to say we're keeping it real, but we're telling our truths. Okay. See, the thing is, there's a lot of people out there right now who are stuck in whatever they are. They could be 20-something, right? Maybe in their 30s. And they're trying to figure it out along their way. But the thing is, they go to the pastor, but the pastor never tells them who they used to be. So, Apostle, I'm asking you to take it off right now and tell us who you used to be back then before you were called, or even how you got called.
Okay. Well, it all started right there, like I said, South Central LA. Anybody have any history with LA? I was born and raised right in the heart of South Central. I was born and raised in the midst of the crack epidemic. My father passed when I was 4 or 5 years old, and my mother went the crack route to self-medicate. So that exposed me to not only crack in my household, but then also exposed me to gang violence. Because at the end of the day, as she was high and, doing her thing, I was open to the streets. Didn't really have the supervision that, one would have with a sane parent, or a parent at that point in time that would be more attentive and protective and things like that. So I was able to go out, hang with gangbangers, hang with drug dealers to a certain extent. But then at the same time, too, her addiction made her paranoid. So there would be at times where I could hang out, but then there was times where she would get so high that she'd get paranoid. And then in that paranoia, then I would be restricted. I would have to come in the house and just be at least in her eyesight. You know, she didn't really, when she would get high, she didn't want me out of her sight. So at the end of the day, that really served to be protection. But you know, when you're young, you ain't feeling like that's protection. You getting joned on by the block. You know, I'm in the house before the street lights come on. You know, oh yeah, your mama high this week. Your mama just got high, huh? Yeah, I can tell because you in the house now. You know, but you know, outside of that, you know, same, you know, upbringing. You know, drinking from a water hose, be outside. You know, come in before the street lights come on. You know, out there, you know, doing things until I got older, and then as I got older, it got a little bit more serious. Again, because my mother's addiction began to just really take a toll on the family. And again, like I said earlier, I was the oldest. So by me being the oldest, it began to become burdensome because as she would spurge out on her binges, I would have the responsibility of watching all the siblings. So then I became like the in-house babysitter.
Gotcha.
You know, so then that became very, you know, demanding because now I have these siblings and the responsibility, which gave mom the liberty and the freedom to binge out. So, you know, those were my beginnings, which wasn't too good, wasn't too bright. But even from then, it was known that I was different. Even then, when I would try to get in trouble and try to get in things, I was the one to get everybody busted. You know, I was the one that got everybody caught. Yeah, you know, I was the one to get everybody caught. And even if it wasn't even about snitching, it was just that I be around, we get caught. Gotcha. You know, so it'd be like, you know, we go do something. Okay, cool. You know, let's take Ronnie because, you know, everybody from the block called me Ronnie. So they'll say, well, let's take Ronnie, you know, with us. But then if they take me with them, we getting caught, you know, or something happens. So it didn't take too much of that type of activity to realize let's leave him at home. You know what I'm saying? We can't do nothing with him because, you know, every time we take him, we somehow get caught. So of course those were inconveniences back in those days, but I see it as the hand of God now. Right. You know, in protection now. So, you know, so that was a little bit of my upbringing. Outside of that, I got tired of that type of life because, of course, it robbed me of my childhood. And I wasn't able to really have the childhood that I would have liked to have. Again, with my father deceased and my mother an addict, you know, it was just a lot of things that I missed out on. Birthdays was non-existent. Christmas was non-existent. You talking about a mother that was a fiend, you know. So those things it was painful. You know, and so God began to bring a change in my life. And like I said, he used my aunts, which is my father's sisters, to begin to seek me out. And my particular aunt, which is now a part of our actual ministry, Prophetess Mom Karen, she began to have, while in law school, she just began to have a heart and a desire to pick up that piece, which at that point was me. And to be involved in my life and just show me. All she needed to do was just show me, as she felt, that there was just another way, you know, in a different way. And that's exactly what she did, right in the middle of law school. So what she would do is she made contact with my mother. So then, of course, out of sight, out of mind. So if I was to go with them, which I did, and spend weekends with them, that's the weekend she don't have to worry about me. She don't have to worry about any gang activity. She don't have to worry about the streets. So she would let me go for the weekend, and then it started off as weekends to build that trust. And then after that, it started off like for summers. Then it moved on to summers. So then when I started spending summer vacation with them, now she don't have to worry about me for the whole summer. So I got to see, and as you can know, those aunts are my Ackerson side. Okay, so my family is Marcus's. My dad's side of the family are Ackersons. So I was being then introduced to the Ackerson side. So these are my dad's sisters. So that's how the initial contact began. Now the first, I guess, impact, because I mean, obviously I'm broken. You know, I have a lot of things that I'm experiencing, but I'm experiencing just a whole new outlook on life because they live totally different. They were going to church, kingdom, spiritual type ministry. But I didn't really want to dive in because I knew it was just a summer thing. You know, so it's like, hey, I'm going to church. I ain't gonna really go all out because I'm going back to the hood in a
yeah,
couple
yeah.
days.
Basically, you just saying because you know.
Yeah. Hey, why am I making an adjustment for the summer? I'm going back to the hood. But the first encounter I had, believe it or not, was in a church service. And we was in this service, and we had service. And I don't remember if the pastor was really aware of my situation, but he ended up prophesying concerning me, not necessarily over me, but to my uncle and aunt at the time. And he ended up prophesying to them concerning me. And he said that there's a call on my life, of course, but if they were to send me back to LA, I wasn't gonna make it. I was gonna be dead in a year.
Ooh. How old were you?
And that changed everything for me. At that time, I was about 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So that became a major change for me. I wasn't familiar with prophecy, didn't know anything about it, but that was my first, encounter with that.
So you overheard this conversation?
Yes, I overheard it, and then not only that, but then when we got back from church, my uncle and aunt actually sat me down and discussed it with me.
Wow.
And tried to explain it to the best of their ability. But at that point, I was already like, yeah, so what we gonna do?
Hey, that's all it takes. One threat of death, and
Which I knew at that time was going to just really take. Okay, if this is what God said, it's gonna really take to happen.
Right.
Because again, as I was coming up, it was the system culture, the county culture, in California. So if you were considered on the county. My mother was on the county, which was considered government assistance.
Okay.
So not only did she get a check for me, but then she also got food stamps for me. So I was a check. So in addition to this prophecy, I'm looking at, and then after they make it clear to me what the Lord said, so I said, okay, we gonna really see if God moving in this situation.
Right.
Because my mama ain't gonna let me go. Like, I'm a meal ticket.
Right.
Like, what you talking about? Like, you messing with her dope money, you messing with her food stamps. And back in them days you could flip food stamps. I don't know if people do it now, but because they didn't have no cards back then. They had the booklets.
Coupons.
Food
coupons.
Right. So you could really make some move with them coupons. But but that was another encounter. So my second encounter with that was after, they discussed everything. My uncle and aunt was like, well, we're going to go the easy route, because the easy route would be just asking her for you.
Right.
Without having to fight the system and things of that nature. So, I'm like, okay, this good luck. This ain't gonna go down. It's like basically you telling somebody, hey, can I cut your check? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we went down there, we drove down there. So this was a particular summer that I was down there. And so what they did by faith was I didn't pack to come back. So I left all my clothes there. That was a faith move. And it was like, we're going to go down and we're going to talk to your mother. And by faith, we're going to leave your clothes because we believe you're coming back.
Wow.
So all of this is new to me. I'm a young man observing all of this. And we get down there, and when we actually get down there, my mom is on one of her binges. So the streets had to find her for us. And then once they find her, she comes in high as a kite, lit. And so we get in there, and she's high as a kite, and she's like, okay, what's this? Because basically it's supposed to be a drop-off. This ain't supposed to be no meeting. Y'all supposed to be dropping him off. What's this about? So they opened up in prayer, which we always do. Like, can we just open up in prayer? Right. So opened up in prayer, and then my uncle at the time, just outright up front was like, we wanted to sit you down and talk to you and ask for Ronald, ask for him, and actually raise him for the remaining, teenage years that he have. And, I'm ready. I'm braced. I'm ready for the, everything else but the kitchen sink, right?
Right.
And I came in contact with the power of God again. I observed it. My mother, immediate response looked like she wanted to be like, no, but she was arrested. It was like a literal arresting that took place.
Wow.
And then tears fell out of her eyes. And she looked up at my family and she said, I can't do nothing with him. Take him.
Wow.
And when she said that, my auntie nudged me and was like, go get your clothes.
Go get your clothes.
Go get the rest of your stuff, before she changed her mind.
Right.
Because if there's a high yes, we want to be out of here before she come down, right? So, they looking at us like, they looking at me like, get the rest of your stuff, And that's exactly what we did. I got the rest of my stuff. I mean, we was loading up, and again, my mom was pretty much in tears, but, that's the, conclusion she came to. And she was like, take him. I can't do anything with him. And then one of her other comments was, she wouldn't be able to live with herself if something happened to me. And she was very much aware of how addicted she was to, or what her problem was. And so that was another aspect that she kind of viewed it in. And so with tears in her eyes, she was like, hey. And so I hugged her. I hugged my siblings, which was painful because if it wasn't having to leave my mother, it was having to leave my siblings. And in this case, they were all fathered. We had the same mother, but we had different fathers. So they're looking like, can we go too?
Right.
And I have to now look at my younger siblings and be like, no, you can't go. And had to walk away from my mother and had to walk away from my siblings. And had to do that at such a young age, And I cried all the way back, as they were driving in a car. It was a victory, but it was...
Yeah, it's still hurtful.
It wasn't, It was kind of like a bittersweet.
Right.
But later, what they end up turning, as I got older, I wanted to go in the military. And so what I decided to do was, I didn't know which branch I wanted to go in, but what my heart was to go in and then go back and get them.
Oh.
And so that is how I ended up in the military. Was I didn't know which branch to go in, but what I did was I called all the branches on a weekend. And I said, whichever one responds to me first is the branch I'm going in. And Army happened to respond first.
Yeah, they pretty quick, man. They came and got me out of high school. I had what they call it, ASVAB, and I think I did like the second highest score in the school, just playing around. But they came and got me ASAP.
Oh yeah, Army don't play at all.
Yeah.
I think the Marine
I seen
came
everybody.
a couple of days later.
Coast Guard is probably the latest one.
Yeah. But that Army guy,
Army was there.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, I just came in my office to get something and happened to just check the answer because back in them days they had answer machines."
Right.
He said, "Yeah, I just happened to check the answer machine and got your message. So I just want to respond back to you, but we won't be getting the ball rolling till Monday. But I just want to let you know I got your message."
Yeah, they don't play.
So that was the deciding factor right there. And so my heart then was to, go in, and that's what got me through because I had my siblings on my heart. And so when, basic training and, your life changing from that aspect, what kept me motivated, what got me through the grind of it was I wasn't just going through it for myself. I was going through it for them. And then, like I said, I got, 4 sisters, 1 brother. And so my heart was not just for my sisters, but definitely for my brother because he was younger, real young. So I definitely wanted to get him before the streets got him,
Okay, gotcha.
And so once I graduated and everything, and I reached out to my mother once everything was settled and things like that, and I was married in my first marriage. But I let my first wife know, that, hey, I'm not going to have kids right away. I got kids. I got siblings, and we can't get married if you don't understand what's going on. So she already understood what the plot was. You know what I'm saying? So, but then once I got everything settled and I reached out to my mother for them, she wouldn't give them to me.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So she wouldn't give them to me. And then I pleaded for just my little brother. And she wouldn't give him to me. At
this time, was she clean or?
No, she was still flowing. Okay. But, at that point, it was like, you left me. You're not finna get everybody. You're not finna get anyone
pull everybody else with you.
Yeah. So gotcha. It was again an addicted choice.
Gotcha.
Which at that point, addicts are pretty selfish at that point.
Right. I tell you what, we're gonna wrap it up right there, right? Because I know we already know there's much more, right?
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna close out this episode right now. We're gonna come back, man. We're gonna see y'all next week. All right.
All right.
Play with the fire, you get burned. All of my struggles became lessons well learned. I got desires that keep me grounded, that's for sure. Cause one day we gon' make it out this earth. Where's your worth?